I forgot to show you this last time. I flew over Alan in highish winds, and my rather insubordinate drone, whose pluck is slowly growing on me, could only hold station approximately as I did a downward-facing pan. The new anti-slip on the deck is comprised of granules set in leftover epoxy primer. It's matte, not gloss, and whilst grippy as hell, doesn't wash down clean that easily. I'll decide if I care some other time. We're drilling holes in Alan's head today, which may appear cruel, but he needs a robust mast mounting, so needs must. The brace, from part 1, needs to be bolted through the reinforced mount, from part 2, and this means a couple of holes through the shell and down into the soft insulation. I made the first hole and so know roughly which rectangular chunk of foam to slice out. Then from above I could drill the second pilot hole in the right spot. There are multiple layers to make my way through. A few layers of glass fibre on top to secure and seal the mount, then 6mm of solid steel, another layer of new glass, and then the mechanical epoxy bond to the hull itself. A vacuuming with vigour clears out the area where the plate is to go, but so far the holes are only 6mm pilots and need widening out to the full M12 bolt size. I've prepped another small plate of steel from the ballast bar offcuts, but want to check it'll fit into the recess, then to roughly mark up the first of the 2 holes. The second will need to be much more precise. I wish I could say that I've learned from previous messes when drilling through glass fibre shell into Alan's interior, but I made sure for the main drilling event that the dust and skin-itching awfulness could be contained. A job for cheap duct tape. I'm not going to show you more footage of me drilling through Alan's shell, albeit with a drill bit of larger diameter, but you'll have to just take my word for its completion. The intricate dust and crud collection apparatus worked as hoped, and a bucket meant I didn't have a clean-up job on my hands amidst a cloud of choking resin dust. The clean-up extended to up top as well, and so Henry went on a rare outdoor excursion. The ability of these industrial vacuums to yomp up practically everything puts the overpriced, fastidious domestic ones to shame, and this Henry is only the base model. I've already done the drilling job on the lower internal metal plate for the less exact hole, but the second needs to be precise in order to line up. Naturally, the stratospherically high level of craftsmanship thus far ensured that the bolts neatly dropped in, but to save time and avoiding having to redo the lower plate, I need to mark where to drill. I find that the tip of a slowly spinning full-size bit, in this case M12, leaves a helpful mark, so I can then drill an accurate pilot and then size it up to full diameter. I hope to have this done by late afternoon, but Alan does have a habit of absorbing inordinate amounts of time. We all know someone like that. Into the evening it was then. I'm afraid this camera angle, as I tried for the first time to achieve the awkward task of adding the washer and nut to the bolt thread, was less successful than I hoped. I had not taken fully into account the presence of my shoulder. No drama, we can try another angle. Doing everything by touch, and using friction to keep the plate from falling to the ground, I finally got the nyloc nuts finger tight. You'll be eternally relieved to see that I managed to get the tightening underway both successfully and with the camera angle that's more useful than the last. The whole structure is stainless steel, except for the glassed-in mild steel, so I'm not anticipating any corrosion issues. The single bolts on the brace have the potential to rotate, and I'm considering passing a couple of smaller bolts through to stop this. Finally, and yes, the stickability of you all through this trilogy of videos is now tangible, the main mast brace is now secure. Even before attachment to the mast, it only flexes a tiny bit. Although the mast is merely for mounting a handful of electronic components, and is not for rigging a sail, I do want to get it upright. A 3-dimension spirit level is an investment everyone should make, and yes, I did check the boat itself was almost perfectly level in both key orientations before straightening the mast. I marked the 2 holes through the brace bracket onto the tube, and completion is now in sight, albeit before deciding on a potential need for more braces. I did somewhat optimistically hope I could drill these holes through the thin mast steel using the marker pen guides, but of course the drill bit skipped around. Some of you will probably tell me to clamp the mast, but I can assure you the drill would still skip on this radius of tube. A good centre punch solves the problem, and I'm still obediently drilling small first and then widening, but with steel this thin, only with 2, at 6mm and 12mm. Evening was fast drawing in. In spite of that, we do have 2 correctly located securement holes in the mast. There's no way I was going to push the actual fixing of the mast into another day of filming and therefore missing out on this episode's edit, as there's other matters for us to turn our attention to, so I'm afraid the great moment was pretty much done in the dark. Success is success though. It also turns out that the drone's landing light comes in useful when hovering aloft. The fiberglass mount, as you'll have noticed earlier, is still rough and needs sanding smooth and painting. If there are any more brace updates for the mast, I'll briefly tag them onto the end of future episodes. So, one more thing. I have acquired a box. This is the electric box that I was mentioning to you at the end of the last episode. It's about the right size. It's one of the largest, extra large ones I could find. It's partly environmentally sealed, but I won't really need that inside the boat. But the idea is to give myself some breathing space for more electrical components, which can't go on the main panel. I also have a bit of a special offer for you. My two latest editions of my books, The Long Haul and Polar Eskimo, are now in their latest paperback version. And what I'm going to do for you lot is give you a special code, which means you can get an extra discount on my website. So head over there, buy lots and lots and lots of them for all of your family and friends, and then everyone's happy. Good job. Anyway, I thought the box and the books might be of interest to you. Well done, team, for sticking with it. So, bye.